why isn't it rational to sentence people who have thousands of images on a computer to more time as opposed to somebody who has one or two pictures in the mail? In other words, the more images there are, why wouldn't you want to sentence that person to more time rather than less? Why isn't that rational?
Senator, I've answered this question, and I'll stand on what I already answered.
So, but your answer is what? I mean, refresh my memory.
Senator, I've answered this question. I've explained how the guidelines work, and I'll stand on my answer.
But the guidelines are not mandatory. I wish they were, but they're not. The Supreme Court made that determination. I'm trying to understand why you think it's rational not to sentence criminals based on the number of images they have. You say that this is a policy disagreement that you have with the guidelines. This gets to the core of your judicial philosophy. You served on the Sentencing Commission where you recommended changes to the guidelines based in part on this policy disagreement. So I think it's relevant and indeed vital we understand what the policy disagreement is. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Senator, I previously explained what the policy disagreement is, and I will stand on my answer.
So you're not going to answer my question?
No, I've answered your question, and my answer is
You haven't
I've
answered my question.
explained-
I'm sitting here asking you, and you're declining to answer.
I've explained how the guidelines work. I've explained that the guidelines were developed at a time in which the commission of this crime was different than it is today. I've explained that Congress has not intervened to revise or direct the commission around how to deal with the changes in the commission of this crime. And so judges all over the country are grappling with how to apply this guideline under these circumstances. And there's an extreme amount of disparity. And in each case, a judge has to look at all of the factors, not just the guidelines, not just what the government asks for, but the recommendations of the probation office, the arguments of the government and the defense, the nature and circumstances of the offense, the history and characteristics of the defendant, the need for the sentence imposed to promote the purposes of punishment, which include things like rehabilitation. Also, in every case, Congress has authorized judges to impose not only terms of imprisonment, which are a very important part of the consequences for these crimes, but a range of other preventative kinds of measures which courts impose in cases to prevent these defendants from repeating these egregious, this type of egregious conduct. And I talked to each defendant, as you have quoted, explaining to them the harms that their crimes caused, and I imposed not only a term of imprisonment, but also all of the other consequences of the offense, to include decades of supervision, restrictions on use of a computer, and the like. That's my answer. I've answered it many times. Do you have other questions for me?
Yeah, I do.